I respect Prof, and he has written very many books. And we remember the talks never started, even with politicians, when the real talks started. So I'm hoping he will start the talks. He should not throw the ball anywhere further. When you remember the former governor of Kivuda and team, when they started the talks at Fungamano, it started and then it was picked. Where is that team? Where is that team? Prof is part of it, can do it, because he's absolutely one of those bright Kenyans who, and I've always said, we need the third party. Yes, we have the politicians. We need a very neutral person to come in. Now that the church also has found itself in a space that is not, because they used to do that. So where is this? Because whether we like it or not, you might say Baba this, but thank Baba. In all his talks, there is a document that comes out. It does not matter how that document is, but it brings some issues on the table that are critical issues that we must look at. So in all this, how do we bring a document on the table that can start bringing up solutions in Limeli on what we are seeing? Because we need one. Whether we want to say this, what will be the solution? Because the problem, as he says, yes, I've always said, we went into a vigorous way of doing the education system, but we did not have the solutions of our young people. So we cannot come every time to bash, but we must go back on the drawing board and say, we made a mistake. And after we have made this mistake, how do we deal with this mistake as where we are and prevent so that the next also does not find itself in the same situation this generation is finding itself. And so even if you say unemployment in a digital world, where I've decided I'll only have 2 people to work for me, the rest we shall do it on digital, then what happens to that young person? So the best, I said and I'll repeat, we must rethink, either have a 7-year tax break on young people who are below 35, and we tell ourselves from here, but that tax break is not also to be misused, but it is to help them to have a camp or a hub somewhere where they can rethink and innovate and start creating their own jobs. And
I hear a lot of suggestions from what you're saying, that things that could possibly form the agenda of the national conversation, if at all. But what is the intention? It's just a few years back, I think 1 or 2 years, where we had the National Dialogue Conference and the NADCO came out. But what was the intention? That appears to have been purely political. What would the intention be?
That's what I was saying. We have to be very careful when we start so that you don't bring again a solution, or you don't think it is more political than bringing the solutions that we would want. And that is why I would want to plead with agencies. I know you say you don't want, but there's a way you can just do a document. You don't even need, you can throw it everywhere on social media where let people read the points that they need to come. If you feel you don't want to have a leader, you don't want to have this, it will be hijacked, fine. But in the end, they have to understand you will take over Kenya. Right. On which way? You must think through also.
Senator Okech, many have accused the former Prime Minister of being disingenuous in this suggestion that we need a national conversation. What would be the need for such conversation?
I think I followed the former Prime Minister a number of conversations that he has had, and he has indicated a number of things. You know, one of the conversations that he had in public, when he was very emotional about it, by the way, on the number of bloodshed that we are experiencing in the last few months, the loss of life, the loss of property notwithstanding, and therefore the violent nature that the political landscape is taking currently is bothering anybody. It's bothering him.